My dear learners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is MD Saiful Islam, assistant teacher of High School of Bangladesh, and you are the most welcome in my saiful English Academy again. Dear learners, hope that you are very fine by the grace of Allah and watched my previous classes smartly. And with the reference of my previous classes, my dear learners, today's class I have been present in front of you with an environment and new class named changing sentence. From simple to complex to compound. Simple to complex to compound. So, my dear learners, now take a look at the board and try to understand. In my previous class, we were told about rule number one. Rule number one. In rule number one, I was trying to make you understand about the relationship by plus zero and equal to if you equal to n, and with the reference of my previous class, today's class, I have been present in front of with our environment, new class, and simple to complex program. Today's class, I'm trying to highlight your rule number two. Rule number two. Maybe learners, in rule number two, I'm trying to show you about the relation shape among simple, complex, and compound. Without plus zero is equal to if you don't is equal to or. Okay, my dear learners. Of course, you know that, my dear learners. Without plus zero is used in a simple sentence. If you don't is used in a complex sentence, and or is used in a compound sentence. So this was the discussion matter of our previous classes. So, my dear learners, now let's take a look at the board and try to understand. According to my mind, rule number three is very easy. My dear learners, if a simple sentence is started with without plus zero, and if you are told to change the sense of a simple sentence into complex sentence, you'll have to use if you don't instead of without plus zero. Without plus zero. On the contrary, if you are told to change the sense of a simple sentence into a compound sentence, you'll have to use or middle of the statement at the place of comma instead of with a plus gerund. With a plus gerund. My dear learners, I have written an example. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Suppose I have written a simple sentence without working hard. You can't prosper in life. Of course, you can understand that, my dear learners. It's of course a simple sentence because this sentence has a principal clause, and a phrase, and you are told about the definition of a simple sentence. Is that in my previous class, my dear learners, a simple sentence is a type of sentence which has at least a principal clause. Sometimes it may have our phrases or not. In this sense, we can consider this sentence, of course, a simple sentence. Suppose your child to change this category of sentence into complex, complex sentence. So, my dear learners, in this sketch, you will have to use if you don't instead of without plus zero. So, my dear learners, start writing, my dear learners, if you don't. Okay, my dear learners, when you will use if you don't, and then instantly that president must be out, must be deleted. Okay, my dear learners, then write your response of the sentence. Work hard, you can't prosper in life. Okay, my dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly. You'll have to mind that, my dear learners, at the time of changing any categories of simple sentence, there is no any change of a principal clause, of a sense of any principal clause. You'll have to change only the phrase into a subordinate clause, into a subordinate clause, because at the time of making understand about the definition of a complex sentence, you are told that, my dear learners, a complex sentence is a type of a sentence has a principal clause and a subordinate clause. Of course, you know that what's a principal clause and a subordinate clause. At the time of making understand what's a principal clause, you are told that, my dear learners, a principal clause is a type of clause which has a subject and a finite verb. And at the time of making you understand about the subordinate clause, you are told that, my dear learners, a subordinate clause is a type of clause which has a principal subject and a finite verb with any subordinating conjunction. Hope that you have understood clearly. Material that's now my question to you. If you are told suspense of simple sentence to change into a compound sentence, suppose compound sentence, you'll have to use or middle of the statement, but when you will use your or middle of the statement instead of comma without flag must be out, must be deleted. Suppose start writing or solving. Let's get solved this problem. What hatch or you can transform in life. Okay, my dear nuts. Now try to consider this sentence is a compound sentence, age or not, my dear nuts. At the time of making you understand, you tell that, my dear nuts, a compound sentence is a type of sentence which has two principal clause, which are mixed with any subordinate conjunction and so, but or as I already say, either the or neither the nor, etc. Of that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. You have to mind that there is a great relationship among these three categories of relationship. Whether plus gerund is equal to, if you don't is equal to or, but from here you'll have to mind that or is used in a compound sentence, if you don't is used in a complex sentence, and without plus zero is used in a simple sentence. Okay, my dear learners, now if you are told any alternatively any sentences, suppose if you don't read more, you can't make a good. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, this sentence is a complex sentence because this sentence is started. This sentence has one principal clause and one subordinating clause. And at the time of making understand about the definition of a complex sentence, I told that, my dear learners, a complex sentence is a type of sentence which has a principal clause and a subordinate clause. Hope that you have understood clearly. And suppose you are told to change substance of a complex sentence into a simple sentence. Then, my dear learners, you'll have to mind that what is the relationship if you don't at the time of changing any kinds of sentence into a simple sentence? Of course, the answer is without plus gerund. Without plus gerund. So, my dear learners, try to solve it right without plus gerund. Gerund means verb ing. Verb ing. Gerund means to add ing with verb. That means here verb read and add ing. That means gerund verb. Okay, my dear learners, extension of this statement. More, you can make a good result. Okay, my dear learners, then instantly this category of sentence it changes into a simple sentence. And now think about if this sentence is a simple sentence or not. My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. In a simple sentence, there is a principal clause. There is a principal clause. Sometimes phrases are is or not. My dear learners, without plus, without reading more is of course a phrase. Okay, millionaires, try to understand. There is no any change of principal clause. There is no any change of principal clause, but you'll have to change the subordinate clause into a phrase. Into a phrase. How that you have understood clearly. Millionaires, how that you have understood clearly. Now, suppose you were told, change this category of sentence into a compound sentence. Compound sentence. So, my dear learners, you'll have to mind that at the time of a sentence of a situation into a compound sentence, you'll have to delete if you don't. If you don't, and writing rest words of the subordinate clause, you'll have to use or middle of the statement instead of comma, and there is no change of principal clause. So my journals start write, read more, or you can't make a good result of the job you have understood clearly. Now, try to consider this sentence is a compound sentence, is or not. My dear learners, of course, we know that, my dear learners, there are two principal clauses in a compound sentence mixed with any coordinating conjunction and so, but as well as either do or neither do nor. That you have understood clearly. Now, my dear learners, I'm trying to show you another example with the reference of this relationship between among them. My dear learners, suppose another example: work hard or you can prosper in life. Okay, maybe let's what's categories of sentence? Of course, this sentence is a compound sentence because this sentence is mixed with or, and both sides are principal clause. So we can say this sentence, of course, a compound sentence. Suppose you are child such kinds of statement into simple sentence. Sorry, Mediolanets. Now, what's the relationship with or at the time of changing of simple sentence? Of course, or and without plus jiran. Without plus jiran. Okay, Mediolanets, start solving without working hard. But my dear learners, in this sketch, all must be deleted and you'll have to use the notes of comma middle of the statement, keeping the principal clause unchangeable. Right, principal clause, you can prosper in life. Okay, medians of that you have understood clearly. Middle suppose your child to change this category of sentence into a complex sentence. So, for solution, try to solve. Or now think about what is the relationship with or of a complex sentence. Of course, if you don't. In this sketch, my dear learners, you'll have to use if you don't beginning of the statement, starting word. If you don't work hard, you can't prosper in life. Hope that you have understood clearly. So, my dear learners, try to understand what the relationship or is equal to without plus zero equal to if you don't. If you don't. Finally, we can be sure that, my dear learners, there is a great relationship among without plus zero is equal to if you don't is equal to or. Hope that you have understood clearly. My dear learners, I don't want to limit today's class, but I want to suggest to you, my dear learners, when you are going to watch my video class, try to watch my video classes sincerely and consciously, attentively, my dear learners. And I want to request you, if you notice any faults or mistakes in the middle of my video class, please excuse me and pray to Allah so that I can help you. I can serve you in this way through my video classes throughout my life. So, my dear learners, now today come to you again with a new Iron Man sharing class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.